Good evening and welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Jake Gordon and Alex Lord. Guys, I literally cannot believe what I witnessed last night. Probably the best postseason comeback, probably the best comeback I've ever watched. I mean, unfortunately, I was not at the game. I'm sure Truist Park was rocking, and they had been dead for about 15 innings. The Braves as a team were dead to rights. I mean, nothing going, shut out more than any other team that's won 100-plus games. I think it was 15 straight innings or whatever. Or I guess 14. They scored in the sixth on a Trae Young bobble that really kind of woke up the entire atmosphere. Well, I mean, it's just like Trey Turner. Yeah. A Trey Turner bobble. Just kind of, I guess it was just something. It just, you'll look back at that play and it looks so meaningless. And it's just like a guy fielding a ball thrown in from the infield that just results in a run. And it was just like the Braves just needed something. Because if you look at these last two postseasons against the Phillies, it's felt like nothing's broken their way, whether it's been, calls from the umpire, whether it's been guys and situational hitting just not coming through, whether it's been a guy like Trey Turner in game one, you look back, he makes that unbelievable play on Ozzie Albies, crushes the momentum. Maybe that game's swing if he doesn't make that play. Now it's Trey Turner on the other side, not making a really simple play, simple execution that needed to be made. It gives the Braves life. Travis d'Arnaud follows it up the next inning with a 2-run homer, his 10th postseason homer. Then Austin Riley just sets the place on fire. And then obviously Michael Harris finishes it. And one of the most insane plays I've ever seen to end a game. As just as far as a postseason game, from the Braves perspective, I don't know. I can't remember one in my lifetime that was that exciting, that had that much action at the end. And just to do it when you're dead to rights against a guy like Zach Wheeler, who was just unbelievable for the first 5 innings, and this Philly bullpen that shut you down the night before. I couldn't believe my eyes. I mean, I was at the point when it was 4-0 there that I don't even know if I was upset. Like, there were times where I was just kind of comically laughing at the TV, and maybe that was just my way of coping. But I was laughing, and I was like, wow, we really just didn't show up. Like, we really about to go get swept by the same team that beat us last year. And then out of nowhere, they just show us life. And now it just feels like an entirely different series. And I don't know how, even if you're a Philly fan and you think you can't lose at the bank, which is just not true. They got no hit at the bank last year. They try not to remember that. I don't know how you don't think that game, the way you lost it, isn't going to have an effect on the rest of the series.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said if this doesn't shift the momentum, then nothing else is going to. I made a similar comment in the same vein of, I don't know, maybe we go and get skunked in 2 games in Philadelphia, but I promise you the series would not go past 3 games if Austin Riley doesn't hit that home run. They would not have won the next game. I promise you that. But I think I just think they really showed something last night. And you talk about the team looking flat for the first 15 innings like that. Like, you saw the energy after that double play. First 8-5-3 double play in postseason history. There you go. When you saw that energy coming out of those guys, like, it actually feels like they can win this now. And I actually kind of think they've woken up at this point to where they're like, all right, hey, we got this. We are who we are. Let's go take care of these guys. Hopefully that translates on the field. It's postseason baseball. Anything can happen. But I'm much more excited for Game 3 than I was at about the middle of the 6th inning last night.
Yeah, it was rough. I mean, I was
considering not even watching it.
Yeah, it was hard to watch. I was right there with Chase, where I drink a beer, laugh. I could just laugh at the TV, thinking, "Good Lord!" I mean, I was just laughing at pain. Is really what I was doing. Absolutely unbelievable. I don't think I have the words to express it. I mean, Max Fried didn't have his best stuff. I mentioned it yesterday. He was off for so long, like 18 or 19 days without pitching in a live game. And I was concerned about that. All things considered, he grinded through his start. I mean, he didn't have anything really going, and he still grinded through his start. Hat tips to the bullpen. Kirby Yates giving up a run. I don't even know if that was really his fault at all. Travis d'Arnaud sailed it over second base. And then the bats just came alive. I mean, we were dead to rights. I tweeted it out. This team rose from the dead for 15 innings. Like you guys said, 14, 15 innings. The Phillies were just thinking this is going to be way easier. These guys are just rolling over and dying. And I don't want to say the Braves didn't have any heart or anything like that, but it certainly looked like that. Flailing in the box, terrible approaches in the box. I mean, it just looked like they didn't have anything going. And to Zach Wheeler's credit, I mean, he had everything working. Everything from Zach Wheeler was working. He looked nasty up there. That's just baseball. I tweeted it out after the first inning. I was like, after 10 innings, this team looks dead. I mean, anything can happen in baseball, and that's what happened. Anything did just happen. I don't care if we were losing by, 4 runs going into the 9th inning, to Jake's point. That was a momentum swing. You've been dominating the whole series outside of a few innings, Phillies, and I do believe going back to Philadelphia, the momentum has swung back into the Braves' favor. There's no doubt about that. I don't care if you have, twice as many hits as us, twice as many. It doesn't matter what the box score says. It's 1-1 going back to Philadelphia, and you guys feel like it was in your hand. 2-0 was in your hand, and we snatched it. That's got to feel terrible getting back on that plane, especially how they did it.
Yeah, I mean, Philadelphia does strike me as the kind of team, especially in front of their home crowd, where they could probably wash this out and show up in game 3, especially. But, momentum, it goes as far as your next game starter, right? So the Braves, we don't know who they're going to start. We're going to get more into those actual games. But, if they go up and give 3 runs in the first inning in front of that Philly crowd, that momentum that you had going into that game. But the same thing can be said about Aaron Nola. I mean, Aaron Nola has pitched some fantastic games against the Braves. He pitched fantastic last year in the postseason. I think he had a really good start at the end of the year against the Braves. He obviously pitched really well against the Marlins. But you look over the whole entire body of work, the guy's given up the 2nd most homers of anyone in the league. If there's a team that can crush the ball, it's Atlanta. And if he doesn't come out there and show, and he's also had a lot of struggles in the postseason career too. If he doesn't come out and shove, and he gives up a couple homers to the Braves, vice versa, that momentum that you had in game 2, now you can win game 3, and who's on the mound in game 4. So I said it before the series in my prediction that this series was going back 1-1. It was a little different. I thought Zach Wheeler would shove and they'd end up winning this game. I thought Spencer Strider would shove and they'd end up winning that game. Those guys both shoved, but they both ended up the losing pitchers, right? So that's just baseball. Like the 2 guys that pitched better in the starting rotation, they don't end up coming away winners. And I almost like the way that it happened better for the Braves, because now you're going in, coming off of a win, coming off a crushing defeat in a game that you had no business winning. Because if you look at last night and just the pure execution standpoint, I mean, the Phillies, not only did they give up the late lead, I mean, they had 7, 8, 9 chances at any point in that game to make this a 7-0 ball game, 8-0 ball game. I mean, I don't know what they were with runners in scoring position, but I mean, it had to be like 2 for 13. I mean, they had base runners all over the field, all over the game, had a chance to blow this one out of the water and not even give the Braves a chance. But credit to Atlanta's bullpen. That was the talk of everything coming into the series, that how would they be able to shut it down? They give up 1 earned run in 5 innings, and that was on the Travis d'Arnaud air. That was the only run they gave up. Joe Jimenez was great. Pierce Johnson was great. Kirby Yates was still really good. Raisel Iglesias, a little scary there, but then AJ Minter, I mean, they got the job done. And we talk about how was the bullpen going to be able to step up in these moments, and they did. And so did Phillies in game 1. And that's why it's a 1-1 series. And man, I mean, it sure feels like this one could be an epic series. It really does. It feels like we got a series now. And that's why you hate that it's only 5 games, right? Yeah. Because it feels like the series just started, right? It feels like the Braves finally woke up. The Phillies were already woken up. Now you should have a best of 5 the rest of the way. Instead, we got a best of 3. But hey, you got these are the cards you're dealt. You got to go ahead and take care of business.
Yeah, it feels a lot like this team was just pressing. To Max Free's point, the rust, the time off, not being in a competitive environment. Sure, we had those inter-squad games, but how competitive is that compared to, NLDS game 1, game 2? And it feels like they were just pressing. Ronald felt like he was pressing, and it obviously he did get that walk. But it feels like Austin Riley and Travis d'Arnaud's home runs kind of lifted the pressure off the rest of the team. Now let's see if they go in and start playing a little bit looser, and how we know this team can play. That's to be determined. But it feels like a lot of the pressure, just getting that one win, that comeback win, lifted a lot of pressure off the rest of the team.
Yeah, 100%.
It feels like you come into this series, right? And all the pressure's on the Braves after what happened last year, after winning 104 games. But it does it not feel now that we were already dead? Like you just gave us a second life. Now all that pressure, is it on us or is it on the Phillies? And I think a lot of it is on the Phillies, because they have to be feeling like this should be a 2-0 series wrapped up going to the Citizens Bank ballpark, and it should have already been wrapped. it feels like the Braves are playing with house money now, which is crazy to say about a 104-win team. But when you give up a game like that, when you're dead to rights and in the grave, and all they have to do is put that last little scoop of dirt on your body, and they don't do it, and you rise from the dead like the Undertaker in that meme, it's like, I don't know that the pressure is any longer on the Braves. And I feel like they can go into game 3 saying, hey, there's no secrets. Max said before the game, there's no secrets between these teams. They've seen Aaron Nola as much as any other pitcher in this league. They've had success. They've had games where he's dominated, but they know what's coming. And I don't think there's a lot of pressure after what happened. There's momentum, and it's up to Aaron Nola to stop that momentum. And it's up to the Braves bats to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah, I can't wait. I cannot have. I mean, it feels like it's already going to game 5 Saturday in Atlanta. Max Fried, Zach Wheeler, winner take all. That's what it already feels like.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about games 3, games 4, what to expect, and then maybe a potential game 5, as you just mentioned.